Hello and welcome. It's Bio here. I figured I would do some World of Outlaws dirt racing. Um, but I want to do the career. Now, I did turn off the music, and like all of it, music, race music, finish music, because I'm not sure if finish music, if it is licensed or not. Obviously, I think the race music and music both are because the race music is sort of, just kind of music while you're racing. So that one I'm pretty sure would be licensed. That one is obviously licensed. So I thought maybe Finnish music might be licensed too because if it's basically just, the same type of music as these two, then yeah, it's probably going to be licensed. Everything's pretty much default. Besides that, though, now I did create a career, but I have not done anything on it. As you can see, I've not done anything at all. Um, this is actually the very first one. So, yeah. Let's see. And you can even restart it, but, the thing is I mean, I can, you know, reset career just to, kind of do it over real quick so you could just see it.
Dirt track racing is rooted in local tracks all across America. Every successful driver has been a local hometown hero at some point, and then moved up to regional events and ultimately into the national level with the World of Outlaws. I think it's really important at the local level to, build your fan base, interact with your fans, interact with the local community. It's very important to, be learning and try to become that hometown hero. Obviously, as you move into the regional level, you got to earn respect. You got to win races outside of your hometown. Once you're at the national level, you have a lot more people relying on you. It becomes a lot more of a job. You have to have a lot of mental toughness. It's a grind out here.
It's easy to say that you want to go race with the Outlaws, but when you pack your bag and you load your trailer with stuff and you head out on the road, it's like a beatdown. It's probably one of the toughest things physically, mentally, financially, all of the above. And you get run down when you're a weekly racer, or you can pick and choose. You get to go home if things aren't right. You hit the reset button. When you're outlaw tough, there's no reset button. There's when it starts, there's no stopping.
My main mentors growing up through racing was my dad. He was always there with me through go-karts. And then, as I got a little bit older, I leaned on, Casey Kane quite a bit. Sponsorship is obviously really important in racing. I've been fortunate to have some great sponsors along the way. One key to running a successful race team is obviously the people that you have around you. It all starts with a great crew chief, great tire guys, and you gotta have great marketing people to help pull it all together. So it's important to have a great team around you.
When you dream of being in this sport as a child, you just dream about being a sprint car driver. And then when you become a sprint car driver, you dream of being an outlaw and you're racing with the greats that there are, the Steve Kinsers, the Sammy Swindells. You never really can put to the ground the fact that maybe you're going to be in that position one day where you're one of those guys.
Now it's your turn to take your shot. Your goal is to build up a solid reputation, sign sponsorship, and continue to grow your organization, all while winning lots of races. But no matter what path you take in your career, your ultimate goal is to become a World of Outlaws Series champion. Good luck out there. We're all rooting for you.
Okay, so I just wanted to, reset the career so I could show you that, pretty much, I didn't do anything. Obviously, I just kind of, chose this, which is the sponsor, I believe. Uh, Made my name. Did like a preset because you get the choose like presets, but I'll just keep the default. It's funny because The last preset I had was just that one, but I'll just go with the default one on this one. Um, advanced mode. The only other thing I did was I'll have to do it here in a minute. Because the only thing I did was change the number on the car. Okay, so the only other thing I did was just, like I said, edited the number on the car, and that's pretty much it. Now, I I do have the PS5 version of this installed, um, but it's funny how they have it set up though, because the PS4 version really isn't any different from the PS5 version. I mean, maybe the resolution might be slightly higher on the PS5 version, but other than that, it's really just the same. I mean, here's the funny thing though. So when I was on Xbox, when I was on the Series X, I had this game and it was, 60 FPS on the Series X version, but the only way you could play the Xbox One version on the Series X is after you had the Xbox completely set up the way it was supposed to be, you had to disconnect the internet completely from the Xbox, install it from the disc because it is one of the games on the disc, but it's the Xbox One version that's on the disc. Um, so basically, that's how you would have to do it. Well, the thing is if you connect it to the internet, it would automatically want you to upgrade it. Like you didn't have a choice. You either upgraded it or you couldn't play it, right? So the only way you could play it on Xbox Series X, the Xbox One version, you have to do it at 30 FPS, and I'm pretty sure since it doesn't obvious. I don't think when it was first released it had like a Pro or Xbox One X enhancement yet. I think they did add that though. But it was just if it was just running off the base Xbox One, it's probably 900 to 1080p possibly for this type of game at 30 FPS. However, the PS4 version, because you can actually have the PS4 and PS5 version both installed on a PS5. Now, they did add an update, funny enough, to the PS4 version that made it run at 60 FPS if you play it on a PS5. So the PS4 version and the PS5 version both are 60 FPS on the PS5. So other than maybe a resolution difference, maybe I really can't tell much of a difference. I mean, even with the resolution, it's not really that much higher if it is. And I don't think that they messed with the oh oh crap. I can't anisotropic filter. Yeah, anisotropic filtering. I don't think they really changed it between um, the PS4 and the PS5 versions because it does it. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but as far as I could tell, I haven't really noticed. Um, so I guess if you just don't notice, and if they did, then hey, if you don't notice, then you don't notice. But if you do end up noticing it, then you know. But I don't think they did because I'm pretty sure that this is one of those games that was supposed to be on a last gen system, not a next gen system. And one thing that makes me think that is because, well, they never actually brought out a PS5 hard copy of this game. So the only two ways of playing the PS5 version of this game is you have to have the PS4 disc or buy it digitally. So, I mean, it's still technically a digital copy, but you still have to have the disc to play it. But yeah, no, those are the only two ways that you can play the PS5 version. Um, Now, there are some games that are not like that. Some games, like as an example, what the frick is it called? Oh, gee, Merry Christmas! It was on PS4 and Xbox One. I believe it came out in 2017 or so, I believe. But it does not have a native Xbox Series X hard copy version of it. It is only the Xbox One version. And if you wanted the Series X version, you either have to buy it digitally, or when you use the Xbox One version, you have to pay for the upgrade. And on the PS4, I would assume it would be the same way, but they actually made a hard copy version of it for PS5. I'm trying to remember what the heck it's freaking called, though. Uh, oh, good lord. Trying to remember this, that, and the other is just freaking difficult half the time, I tell you, because there's so much you try to remember, you know. Um, but it's also a dirt game. It's the basically the successor to Destruction Derby. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can find the freaking name of it, just so. Uh, Give me one second. Because no, it's not that one. Uh, no, it is not that one. Let's see. Type in the year. Wreckfest. That's what it's called. Freaking Wreckfest. So Wreckfest is technically a Demolition Derby successor, but um, that game it's funny because here's the thing. Here's something else that makes me believe that this game was made for last gen, not so much next gen, and that is when you're driving the vehicles and stuff, you get dirt on the cars themselves, and the tires. Now, it does not matter if it's the Xbox One version, the Series X version, PS4 version, PS5 version. It does it on all of them. Now, for Wreckfest though, the Xbox One and PS4 versions, I don't think the PS4 version does it either, but the Xbox One version and the PS4 versions don't seem to do that. You know, with the dirt on the tires and the cars. But if you play the PS5 or Series X version of Wreckfest, they actually added that feature to the game. So then when you're driving, you get dirt on the tires, you get dirt on the cars. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that game obviously was not made for next gen systems, but they upgraded it. So then when you do buy the PS5 version, you are sort of getting upgrades to the game. With this game, it ain't like that. You're not really getting any upgrades. I mean, it's just, if anything, like I was saying, it might be a slight resolution boost. But other than that, if you're playing the PS4 version on the PS5, it's basically the same. I mean, and then the only other difference would be like, I think maybe it's like 10 or 11 gigabytes smaller on the PS5 version of it. But anyways, enough of all that. We're gonna go ahead and get into the career mode. So we'll go ahead and start it real quick. So yeah, but hopefully that little bit of knowledge kind of helped you out a little bit. Because technically it is knowledge because, well, you did kind of learn some stuff about, both games. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Oh yeah. I think maybe the loading might be a little slower on a PS4 version, possibly.
Ready for an amazing day of racing. Hot laps are underway.
Yeah, see on these lower, I think this one's 25. On the lower number ones, like they don't go as fast. Like you get the 410 sprint car, that thing flies. So I think that's one reason why they probably started out on a 205 one of the first careers, so you get used to how everything works and kind of work its way up, you know? Because those aren't the only two. I think there's another one. On that one, though. I've always been a freaking sprint car, but like ever since I was a kid. But the only thing is they just don't take very games, and they don't really, you know, God, they don't really do a whole lot. Like, you can't just flip on the TV and straight up start watching it. Like, even on YouTube, you pretty much have to pay for freaking, you know, to be able to watch it. And I'm kind of, that's kind of wild, you know? To have to just sit there and pay and watch cars go around when you just, you know, get on a cable and click on NASCAR and for free, basically. You know? So it's kind of weird why, you know, you have to pay to watch like sprint cars and stuff.
Hot lap result.
Now, it should be set up for full damage, 100% of the laps, and so on. As long as it stays, you know, going to lean into the grenade, if it just goes to those same settings. I know some they might have, like, mirror settings, and then they have, like, you know, the rest of the other parts of the mirror settings. So, on some games they just kind of separate it.
Results are in. Let's see how qualifying. E4's on the speedway next. Top 5 advance to the A main.
Now, I have not actually played a ton of this game, not even on the Xbox, but you know, technically I'm still sort of getting used to it. So. Plus, if you think about it, going from Xbox to PlayStation, it's over and stuff, so it's gonna take a little bit to get used to up here. Alright. And I will stream some of the PS5. There's really not much of a difference. Not really. I am gonna look at those settings because I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just the not the setting I don't know if it's actually set up how the rest of it, how the that does seem to heading up or something. Let me check. Cause it should be the same, but I don't know. I'm not seeing any kind of settings in here, so um, let me check something. Cause I don't think I was thinking maybe they had like a career mode thing here somewhere, but I guess not. I was thinking it was a little bit longer than that. Huh. Okay. Maybe it's air main that's friggin'. Maybe that's what it is. Air main might be the one that's 10 laps. Unless I gotta put it on frickin' 200%, but I kind of feel like that the 100% one gives you what is the average that they normally do. So, but I could be wrong. It could be the 200%. It could be the average, but I don't know. I just kind of figured 100% would make most sense to being what's usually average. Yeah, we're just gonna go to skip that real quick. Okay. I guess we'll do the heats real quick. Once you back out, it don't like straight up continue. It probably does, but probably at certain point, you know. Pretty sure. No, I don't forget. No, I could have swore I did B main then A main, but I'm pretty sure that was. Huh. I guess it's still counting. I was like, wait, I guess it did still save it. Aha! I knew it! I knew something it was weird because it didn't seem like it was quite as long. So I guess you got to do that first one before you can actually change the career options. Huh, it's been a minute since I've actually played. But yeah, no, apparently you got to just do that one before you can start changing settings on a career. But like I said though, some games do that, so it's like two completely separate settings. Like you have the career options and then you have like, the other options for like quick race, local multiplayer, stuff like that. So it's kind of like two separate things options wise. Even though it gives you all the same options, it's kind of like, well, not sure why they do that exactly. I never really thought about it, but eh, oh well. Maybe I'll look it up and see if I can find any information on why they do that. So yeah, I mean, because they could easily put the career options at the main menu too. Like when you go to options, you got like you know all of these ones, but then you should have one that says like career options. Like that would make sense because then it's like, okay, that makes sense because then you could just go to the main menu, set up all the options before you get into the game. That would make a lot more sense.
Welcome to Grant Park Speedway. This beautiful 3A style. Contests are underway.
Now, something funny about this vehicle is when you turn like this and it looks like it's stuttering, it's actually not stuttering. I think it's got something to do with like oxygen. I think you can get it. Probably turn it all the way off, maybe. And it just do that. I don't know. I've never really messed with it. Pretty much everything's called over, use it. So.
Timing sheets are in.
just a minute. I'll just do the replay real quick, and then I'll be right back. I gotta do a couple things real fast. Just so, you know. Okay, I'm almost done. Give me just a couple more seconds. I gotta go to the bathroom, take a leak real quick, and I'll be right back, and I'll be ready. Alright, I am back. Sorry about that. Oh, crap. I think that's the shape. I think it's what that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to study up on that one. Hey, top 10 ain't too bad.
I know it's tough in these first few events. I remember when I was just starting out at my local track many years ago. But you're doing great. Just keep focusing on doing your best and try to get into as many features as you can. The sponsors out here like to see consistency. If you do that, your fan base will start to build and you'll be heading out to regional events in no time. Just remember to sink as much money back into your car as possible. It will help you stay competitive. Good luck out there.
He ain't lying. Because I tried, when I was on the Xbox, I tried to freaking just keep going without actually upgrading the car. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it kind of sucks. I mean, you kind of have to upgrade. Now, if I remember correctly, just a little tip. If you have the money to repair the whatever one it is, or you have the money to purchase an upgrade on it, purchase the upgrade on it because, as you can see where it says condition and stuff, it automatically goes back up. And, so it's sort of like repairs, basically, because you're putting new pieces on, more or less. I mean, as you could see, as I'm upgrading all of these, I don't have to repair anything, I don't think. Well, no, actually, I still have to repair, don't I? Okay. But, I guess if you have to still repair it, it's probably not going to be as much where it's all upgraded, so it may not be as much. I'm not totally sure, because on the Xbox version, I don't remember having to repair it after I purchased an upgrade. Oh, wait a minute. Unless it's because you go from, let me see here. Like the level 2 as an example. I think that might be what it is. You go from like this to this, and it might just kind of fix it automatically, maybe? Because I don't remember really repairing any of it a lot of times. A lot of times I think I just upgraded it and stuff, and it just kind of repaired it automatically. Unless it's just going from the level 1 to 2 to 3. Unless it's doing that, and it repairs it. Could be that. I'm not sure. Like I said, it's been a minute. But anyways, yeah. Now we should be able to do it a little bit better. I don't think we were doing too bad on a car that wasn't upgraded whatsoever, though. Like a straight up stock, like nothing upgraded whatsoever at all. So I don't think we were doing too bad. I'm gonna even top 10 on the freaking alien.
Thanks for joining us today at Gear Speedway. Drivers are hitting the track for high.
Now it is always good to practice whenever you use tracks because each one goes a little different. One maybe shorter than another, one maybe wider, one maybe width. They're not all exactly the same. Like, even if they look the same, and they all, some of them have, pretty much, almost every one of them's got completely different, mileage on each one. So, I know one might be like half a mile, and the other one might be like quarter mile or something, but, yeah, I think it's more or something like that. Quarter mile, but I don't know how many of them are the same as each other. So, a couple of them. Now you don't have to sit there and practice for like an hour or anything like that. Just I'd say make it at least 5 or 10 laps maybe. Should be good enough because then you could you know go around it more than once or twice to kind of get the feeling of it. don't last. So think about a recording system. 25 on the other one is probably a little longer. So basically, the last percentage is based on the actual track, like the size. So like if there's like a half a mile, and they only have 25 because like one quarter they may have 40 So it just kind of depends on the track. that one just didn't want to get off of it, did he?
Drivers checking their belts one last time. And there's the green restart. We're just moments away from the action. Just count it on. That's it. The race is over. Leader brings it down the line. See how this ends. And there's the yellow. Let's reset the field. The drivers come to the line. And we're back to racing. Drivers march to the ring. These drivers are quick starting the race before they're in the race. So the win is anyone's guess. While some drivers are settling out there in the on-the-way storm, we approach the end of this one. Turn CV gets going, and this is fun to watch. We've got trouble. The yellow flag is out. Just about ready. Green flag is in the air.
God, we're all like getting crunched up right there in that one spot.
Just about ready. There's the green. We're back up to speed.
I can tell like, I don't know what's going on with this one. I get past a couple, two or three of them, then it's like everyone's like all crunched up right in that one spot.
Checkered flag and impressive performance. Congratulations. Let's take a look at the race results.
Congratulations on your first win. That was awesome to watch.
Hey, nice job today. You put in the work and you got a great result for it. Keep it up.
I'm just kind of curious to see if it's just, you know,
Hot laps are underway.
usually it doesn't seem to, like, do anything. As far as I could tell, even the car still kind of shakes too, so it's like, I'm kind of confused on that one. Crap. Yeah, you know, if you ask pro driver, personal driver, they'll tell you that there's some places where there's a lot of caution, and there's some where something's not. I'm assuming it's just kind of based on something like that, and how well everybody drives that night. Well, that day anyway. But yeah. Daggone, I couldn't freaking get him off. It's like he was just stuck on me. Oh crap.
Drivers are coming to the line.
Ah! Oh, no. Second. Oh well. And even the freaking sponsorship, when I went with the top 5 one, that one was actually challenging, is what it actually stated. So, you know. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop off here for a little bit, and when I get back on, because what I'm going to do a couple things real quick, but when I get back on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the PS5 version of it so then you can see it and kind of maybe comment, maybe see if you could pinpoint any kind of differences. Because even for me, you know, I normally notice every little thing, but dude, there's not much of a difference at all that I can tell between this one and the PS5 version. I mean, like I said, maybe a slightly higher freaking uh, resolution, and that's basically it as far as I can tell. Um, and the only reason why I could tell that is because when I look at the back tires, it like on the PS4 version, they're just ever so slightly. Uh, I don't know. It's like something going on like around the back tires, some weird. I don't know, I guess you could say like artifacting, but then on the PS5 version, it's not as bad. It's still slightly there, but it's almost like it has to do with the resolution because everything else seems to be basically the same, you know? But yeah, I'm gonna do a couple things real quick, and I'll be back, and I'll be on the PS5 version. But for now, if you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a big fat thumbs up, maybe subscribe. If you do, please turn your post notifications on. Make sure to set them to all. Thanks for watching. Have a great and blessed night, and I'll catch you later.